Hi, my name is Connor, and this is my kitchen. Today, I'm making beef bourguignon. Alright, so beef bourguignon is a stew consisting of a fatty meat, some vegetables, and a red wine and beef stock gravy. It is one of the best things you will ever eat. We're pairing it today with some mashed potatoes and some bacon garlic mushrooms. This is one of the best things you will ever eat. You need to try this recipe. Alright, let's get cooking. So first we're going to start off with our beef, a whole brisket point. This is the top muscle of the brisket, usually used for burnt ends. So we're going to cube it up into about 2-inch chunks, just like this. And if you have any pieces with really fatty ends, don't be afraid to cut it off. You want to leave some of the fat there, it'll render out and it'll make your gravy that much better. But we don't want to add too much fat to our pan and have just a chewy, mushy mess. And once you have all your pieces cut up, we're going to season it evenly with kosher salt and black pepper, freshly ground. Make sure you massage all of your meat together to evenly distribute your seasonings. And next we're introducing 12 ounces of bacon that we are going to cut up into lardons. Now lardons are just a name for small pieces of usually bacon, or it could be guanciale, pancetta, just usually a fatty meat, a fatty cured meat. Now we're doing our vegetables, our mirepoix. We're going with 3. Alright, we're going to chop the top off of our carrot, and then we're going to cut it in half lengthwise. Next, we're going to take our halves and cut those lengthwise in half again. And then you're going to turn them around and go ahead and just dice them. We're going to do this with 3 whole large carrots. Next, celery. 3 large ribs, cut off the bottoms, cut off the tops. And you're essentially doing the same thing here as you did with the carrot. You're going to cut it in half, cut those halves in half again, all lengthwise. And then horizontally, you're going to dice them into just little pieces. And now we're going to bring in our onion. We're going to chop the top off, cut that bad boy in half, peel the outside layers, and then do a nice medium dice. And now, garlic. You're going to need a lot of garlic for this recipe. 12 whole cloves. You're just going to crush them, peel their skins off, and dice them into nice little pieces. You're going to use 10 of these cloves for our beef bourguignon and 2 of them for our mashed potatoes. And now we're bringing in our mushrooms that we have washed thoroughly to make sure we got all the dirt off. And we're going to quarter these mushrooms and set them aside. Now we're going to bring in our russet potatoes that we're going to peel all of the skin off. We're going to cut in half lengthwise 1 time, and then cut it in lengthwise again another time on the other side, and then cut the pieces into even little chunks. You got to make sure they're even, otherwise they'll cook unevenly, and you'll have big hunks of uncooked potato in your mash. And now I'm a big dummy and I forgot to film this part, but first you're going to get your Dutch oven and cook your bacon about halfway. Cook your lardons to about like half of the doneness that you would like them. Take those out, and then you're going to sear your beef in there. You're going to sear it on all sides. Make sure it gets some nice browning. We do not want any gray beef. And then after your beef is browned, take it all out and add your mirepoix in. And saute it around until it's nice and soft. And now we're going to add our garlic to the rest of our mirepoix. You want to add your garlic in later because it can burn easier than the rest of your vegetables. Now once that's stirred around and sauteed nicely, you're going to add in 3 tablespoons of flour, effectively creating a roux with the fat that's in the pan. Make sure you get all the flour hydrated and you don't burn any of it, otherwise your stew will have a gross off burnt flavor to it. And now you're going to add in 2.5 cups of red wine and 2.5 cups of beef stock. This is going to simmer down and be the gravy / sauce for our beef bourguignon. Make sure you stir it around and get all the bottom pieces off. And now you're going to put in our beef. And make sure you get it mixed up well enough so that everything is evenly dispersed and not just vegetables are sitting on the bottom. Next, we're going to add our thyme and rosemary and our 3 bay leaves. We're going to push those in there, make sure they get all nice and incorporated into our sauce. And we're just going to put a lid on this bad boy and let it go until our beef chunks are tender. Now, we're boiling our potatoes in some cold water. You need to start out with cold water, otherwise the outside of the potato will cook, but the inside will remain hard. And once those are cooked, you're going to pour them back into our pot, mash them up. Don't go crazy with the mashing. If you overwork your potatoes, they'll be gluey and gross, and they'll just have a bad texture. And now we're going to add our butter and our cream. We're going to mash those in, and now we're going to microplane our garlic in. This is my favorite way to add garlic into mashed potatoes. You don't need to use a ton of cloves, but it gives you a great garlic flavor because the more you break garlic down, the stronger the flavor becomes. And so microplaning, it just destroys all the cells on the cell wall, and it just makes the Allison come out and go crazy. You're going to want to mix it up, but like I said earlier, you do not want to overmix and make some gluey mashed potatoes. That would be gross. Alright, now we're going to bring in our saute pan and add 2 tablespoons of butter. And once we have those foaming, we're going to bring in our quartered mushrooms and the bacon that we set aside earlier. We're going to saute those until our bacon is fully cooked and our mushrooms are cooked all the way through, but not mushy. You don't want gross mushy mushrooms. Make sure you season them. That's going to draw a lot of the moisture out of the mushrooms. And there we go, our beef, there we go, our beef bourguignon. This was about after 7 hours on the stove simmering. It will make your house smell incredible. Now to plate up, all you need to do is just get a big scoop of mashed potatoes and put it into the middle of your bowl. Get some of our beef and make sure you get the sauce. You can't forget the sauce. And then after we have all our beef and sauce in there, we're just going to top with our bacon and mushrooms. And then we're going to garnish with some fresh picked thyme. But anyways, guys, that is the video. I hope you like it and enjoy it. This is one of my favorite things to eat, and I think you will enjoy it a ton.